Well, good morning, everyone, and I just want to thank you for joining us. It's an exciting day for the Edmonton Police Service, and we're certainly happy to announce that we have partnered with Accident Support Services International, known as ASSI, to open 2 collision reporting centers in Edmonton this fall. Once open, those involved in minor vehicle collisions will no longer have to wait roadside for police response to report to one of our divisional front counters. They will visit the center to have ASSI staff help them file a report. Police will continue to attend collisions requiring statutory police presence, such as those including criminal acts, suspended drivers, extensive damage to private or government property, fatality or injury requiring an EMS presence. Collisions not meeting that criteria will be directed to the nearest center. ASSI is a well-established professional collision management company who offers motorists a safer, more streamlined collision services. They've seen success in other Canadian cities such as Toronto, Medicine Hat, and many others. And this fall, motorists in Edmonton will see the same benefit. It's important to note that this service will come at no cost to the public or EPS. It's paid for by the insurance providers who support ASSI. In a moment, you'll hear from my colleague at ASSI, President Steve Sanderson, on how their services work. But for now, I would like to focus on the impetus for this change and the positive impacts that it will have on Edmonton motorists and services levels at EPS. Annually, our officers respond and process approximately 34,000 motor vehicle collisions. This often boils down to a considerable amount of administrative work. They can be some of the most time-consuming tasks our people perform, and they happen daily. Usually when traffic is at its heaviest, creating safety issues and frustrations for motorists. A non-injury property damage collision investigation takes on average 1.5 hours to 2 hours to complete. This means motorists can wait several hours from the time the accident happens to the time police show up, to time the scene is processed, finished, and the investigation. Likewise, for each collision reported to one of our divisional front counters, it takes approximately 1 hour per driver interaction, with most collisions having 2 drivers reporting on separate occasions, often to separate divisions. This is time that officers can be using differently, and it's time and stress Edmonton's motorists can also be saved. We've heard from citizens that they want EPS to focus on addressing crime and emergency aspects of police work. We endeavor to adopt an innovative business solutions to work smarter and use our resources more effectively. How we respond to collisions is part of that. ASSI Center allows officers who would otherwise attend minor collisions to attend higher priority calls for services, and by moving the process from roadside and our front counters to a dedicated space staffed with experts. Once the change happens this fall, staff at our division front counters will no longer take collision reports. Any motorists attending divisions to file a report will be directed to the center, as will phoning the non-emergency line or 911 to report a collision that does not fit the criteria mentioned earlier. We understand this will be a change for Edmonton motorists. However, the centers create a safer, less stressful environment. ASSI provides a one-stop shop where customer service is enhanced to resolve claims faster. Likewise, ASSI's analytics will help us improve road safety by determining where, when, and why collisions are occurring to maximize the effectiveness of enforcement activities and collision prevention. Before the centers open, EPS and ASSI will run a public education campaign to make sure our motorists are aware of the new process. It will be an adjustment, but one of the benefit of EPS service levels and the safety of all those on our city's roadways. This is really a positive step forward when we talk about Edmonton Police Service being an innovator. Again, another way to redirect our resources, but also to give better customer experience, save time, and frustrations, as mentioned earlier. At this time, I'd like to welcome Mr. Steve Sanderson, President of ASSI, to the podium to speak more about their service. Steve.
Thanks very much, Chief. Thank you, and good morning. My name's Steve Sanderson, and I'm the president of Accident Support Services International. I'm here today with our Chief Operating Officer, Kumar Siva, and our Alberta representative who lives locally here in Edmonton, Lee Harris. And we're honored to be able to partner with the Edmonton Police Service on these two collision reporting centers, one north of the river, the other one south of the river. And as the chief mentioned, the service will continue to attend on-scene collisions involving injury, criminal activity, hit and runs, and hazardous materials. All other citizens will be directed to attend the CRC and will have an opportunity to complete their accident reports in the comfort and safety of the facility. Our managers and customer service team will assist citizens in completing their reports, offer them an opportunity to contact their family, loved ones, and their insurance company or broker directly from the center. Damage to vehicles will be photographed and included in the collision report, which can be forwarded directly to the driver's insurer at their request. Citizens are provided with a one-stop service shop for their reporting needs, and police personnel will review and approve all reports for consistency and accuracy. There is absolutely no cost to the police or to the public for our services. Our program is funded by participating insurance companies that write automobile policies in the province of Alberta. Our organization currently operates 41 collision reporting centers across Canada. Our collision reporting solutions free up police officers, allowing them to attend to higher priority calls or reallocate resources elsewhere. Additionally, moving collision reporting from the side of the road and into a collision reporting center prevents possible secondary collisions. You know, you're waiting for the police, it's winter time, cars are sliding, and trying to stop and get out of the way. This allows the public to come in at their convenience within 24 hours. I'm taking my son to the hockey game, you're taking your partner out for dinner. We collide, we exchange information, we come in at our convenience the next day. We find that most people come in between the hours of 11 and 7 and report their collisions on lunch or after work during the dinner hour. The center also provides early contact between the drivers and the insurance companies, which speeds up the claims process and delivers additional customer service. So while you're in the center, if you wish to report to your insurer, we electronically send that to your insurance company, and they'll send you back a text saying, here's your claim number, we're on it, and it makes your life easier, and it helps you get back to doing your normal day-to-day routine. So our award-winning collision reporting and occurrence management system, CROMS, is available to the police and participating insurance companies. Everybody in Edmonton knows where the top 10 intersections are, but why are they happening? Are they rear ends? Are they side swipes? Are they left-hand turns? Well, if it's a left-hand turn, we identify that, give it to engineering, and they put in a light or perhaps an extra lane. If it's red light running, the police put an officer right on the light. If it's rear ends, then we use the radar and we slow people down half a mile down the road. So the police will be able to identify where these spots are, and they'll be able to come up with proactive solutions to make the community a much safer place to drive in. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the vision of the chief here and his team for implementing this system. We're very much looking forward to providing an easier service for the public in terms of reporting their collisions, and we're looking forward to the fall and our opening date. Thanks very much.
Let me take questions.
I guess first of all, you mentioned one will be open in the north and the south.
Yeah.
Do you know where the existing-
We're in the middle of renovating these buildings, and one is north of the river, the other one's south of the river, and I think we could release those dates as we get closer to the end of September. And That's it. Yes, they are. They are standalone buildings. One of the buildings has a complete drive-through. So we'll have the consumer come in, drive through, we'll photograph their car. And when we photograph the cars, we take 11 pictures. We photograph the damage, we photograph the back seat for baby seats, we photograph the steering wheel to see if the airbag's been deployed. So there's several things that we do photograph when we take these photographs and send them to their insurance companies.
So you mentioned the date.
Yeah, September 29th.
I think it's important that we do know the location of these two buildings.
Well, Chief, I'll let you.
You want to do the one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Which is the one that we.
Yeah. So we've got 116th Avenue.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 15750, 116th Ave is one for sure. The other one, there's still some things that they're just finalizing, so it's on the south side, but prior to the date of opening, we'll get that to you. But we'll be on the south side.
The timing of this, I mean, have you been looking at this for a while?
Well, I was told today that we've been looking at it for 19 years. So, last 2 years, and credit to my team, Jason and Keith, this is something that we've obviously, police have a legislative requirement to deal with traffic enforcement. That's by legislation. If there's any way that we can take those are minor collisions, those things that happen most often, where we don't have to deal with them on the side of the road, and make the process a better customer experience, as well as save some officer time, because in those particular ones, ASSI is an expert in the field that actually can shorten it for the customer, but also do it in a safe environment. So as you heard Steve, one's going to be a drive-through. We're talking about big lots, the ability to turn around, the ability to park, the ability to get everything done in one shop versus the officer taking the report, obviously filling out the information, send it to the insurance provider, perhaps another contact. We're talking about a one-stop shop. So it's to be more efficient. Our goal is obviously within a year's time, we'll get some people that don't have to longer sworn officers be in the front office. So we'll put them back on the street. And in time, we'll continue to try to operationalize that to get more out. So it's just one of those things when you're looking at innovation, as we do quite often, as you're aware in Edmonton, that made a lot of sense. And I have no idea, Jason could probably tell you better why it took so long, but I can say that we've been on this actively for 2 years, and which was a really quick turnaround thanks to ASSI and thanks to our traffic team. So it just is one of those things that makes sense.
Chief, where will the public see sort of a tangible uptick in services for the officers that won't be waiting for all of this? Where are you putting them and how?
So immediately we're going to get 3, which will go back to patrol, 3 officers. But this, and then we're working on, I think there's possibly another 10 in the near future. We think it's going to take probably approximately a year to transition this to where it needs to be, because it's got to be done properly. You got to get through the hiccups and the kinks. But right now, what is designed is obviously to use those officers. As you're aware, we're trying to get out to a 10-squad model, which is putting more people on the front lines. And this is one of those initiatives where we're counting bodies to bring them back. And it's a non-cost. It's just moving our officers into a different environment.
So it's just basically 13 officer positions that would be on each property? Or would that be?
No, that's one front office right now that's dealing with that. But as we go to another location, that number goes up. Keith, I don't know what the numbers are exactly. Do you? Ballpark? What the opportunity might be?
Opportunity as far as positions
Yeah.
go, because we stated that up to 60% of the workload from the front.
You want to come? Yeah, I was going to say. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
We want to know how many positions are taking these accident calls or people coming in?
Well, I guess that's a little bit difficult to answer, but when we did our calculations, we believe through our work that 60% of the workload from the front counters currently at those 6 divisional stations will be removed. So I'm able to staff our collision reporting centers with approximately 8 of the individuals. So when you talk cost savings, it's very, very substantial. It's very important that we differentiate between positions and people, and cost recovery. There still is, based on what Mr. Sanderson said earlier, is that the quality assurance pieces there are going to be quite a few thousand collisions that do require police investigations afterwards. So I still require those members to do that work. But we believe that there will be a number of positions being made available for the chief to redeploy at his discretion.
So 3 initially, possibly as many as 15 in the not too distant future?
When I guess a call would come in, I get, you might have touched on this already, so apologies, but
Yeah.
what is the threshold between minor, major collision and some of the reports damage?
Do you want to cover
Yeah,
that?
I'll cover that. Thank you. It's $2,000 combined damage. So what we've experienced in the past is somebody will come into our center and they've only got a dent the size of your hand. But a week later, the person that they were involved with has got a neck injury. And then they've also got maybe $1,500 worth of damage. So it's combined damage, $2,000 is the law. It has to be reported.
So what are the details of the contract? What is it?
Well, it's a pilot project, and once we get through that pilot, it's renewable for up to 5-year terms to a total of 18 years. So we've made a significant investment in locally here in Edmonton. We've purchased 2 industrial buildings. We've renovated them. We've spent a considerable amount of resources on updating our CROMS program for Alberta only. So it includes a mobile program for the officers to use. It includes analytics that are predictive. So we had a grant from Microsoft that is going to allow us to do some predictive analytics for the Edmonton Police Service. And it's going to be a first. Yeah.
Is it fair to say on a minor collision that a police officer attached to this doesn't necessarily lay fault or find fault in this? Is this why we're able to do this? Because you don't need an officer attached to a file?
Yeah, we can still find fault. The part is the process. I mean, basically what you're deconstructing is an accident scene. The purpose is if it's that threshold, if it's not serious, doesn't have a criminal nature, I think what we can actually do is a much better job because there's still going to be some sworn officers in there, right? So to those points, as Steve said, they're still going to analyze that. The whole point here is we don't need a let's just use the words badge and a gun full-time officer that's got other duties or tying up a front office, which is balancing assaults, serious criminal offenses, frauds, and everything else, and making people with a traffic accident if we can do that differently. So the legislation allows us to do that. And the other point to this, as Steve didn't mention, is it'll create 30 new jobs for Edmontonians that'll make our folks in relation to those unfortunately involved in an accident have a better experience. For us, it comes down to economics and comes down to being able to redeploy resources as well as save some officer time because let's face it, traffic is still one of our number 1 complaints. People are complaining, I think you hear it, you hear noise, you hear all these different things, but right now traffic collisions take up a lot of that time. As you can see, 34,000, do the math on that every day. So that's another way to free up some officer time.
Speaking of resources, though, if there's only 2 centers and officers are attached to a file, and if it goes to court or something like that, is that not a whole bunch more possibilities of going to court on these files for those 2 centers versus however many centers there are now?
That hasn't been the practice in the past.
No, it hasn't. Most of the services that we partner with, they don't, you'll come into a center, and unless it's an obvious go through the light and dangerous driving type of situation, charges are normally not laid. Show up without any insurance, and yeah, you're going to get charged with no insurance. So.
Is this model being used anywhere else?
Yes, Well, we've been in Alberta since 2011 in Grand Prairie, Lethbridge, and Medicine Hat. So that model's used exclusively there, and it works fairly well.
Considering the uptick in collisions we typically see here in the winter, are staffing levels gonna fluctuate and adjust based on, our winter season too?
Good question, and absolutely. So we're in a position where we can staff up with part-timers. We can bring them in, and what we were mentioning to the chief and his team this morning is Edmonton is an awesome place for the workforce. We're finding really good quality people here, and we're very, very happy with the people that we've been interviewing for the positions.
Anything else? Okay, well, thanks, folks. I appreciate this. As I said, we'll be having a further release of grand opening, hopefully by the end of September is the plan, and we'll get that other location out as soon as the details have been finalized by ASSI. So appreciate your time.